Strikes are supposed to be difficult. They're supposed to be what you do at the last resort because negotiations have ended and you can't go any further. They're supposed to be difficult. By paying employees unemployment during this time, I fear that this is going to be something that becomes more usual and more often.
There's a restaurant that reached out to me. It's a very small restaurant, a mom and pop restaurant. And they said, we don't know if we can continue to employ people because the burden on the business at a time of increasing inflation, at a time when they're paying more for their food, more for their fuel to heat their stoves, higher unemployment insurance, higher payroll taxes, all of these things add up. And they were very concerned about the added value of the unemployment insurance continuing to rise to cover a potential striking workforce.
You know, as a business, you don't want your workers striking because it does financially hurt. You're losing productivity. You're creating uncertainty in the market. It's not isolated where only those striking workers are hurt financially. A business can be hurt. Reputation can be hurt.
When you think about a strike and what the differences in a negotiation between an employer and its workers, there's a balance there. And the idea of a strike is that both sides are going to lose something. The workers are foregoing wages and benefits, and employers are losing the service, product, whatever it is that they are engaged in, and so they suffer as well. So the idea is that there's an incentive to get back to the table, to negotiate, to come to an agreement, and get everybody back to work. It's a scale, and unfortunately, this bill and this program tips that scale pretty heartily, in my opinion, to one side, so that now there's less of an incentive there because, well, I'm going to get unemployment benefits, and according to what I'm being told, my employer is going to pay for them. That's not entirely true, as we've discussed tonight. There is a real cost that's been mentioned. Employers are paying. I think employees are paying, but ultimately all Washingtonians pay, whether it's the direct costs of higher unemployment rates, whether it's higher costs for goods or services, or lack of access to those available goods and services, delayed projects, increased costs, and so on and so forth. That costs us all. None of this lives in a silo, Madam Speaker. You can't just put it in one corner and say it's not going to affect others. It just doesn't work that way. And while I agree with my previous speakers who say we don't want workers on strike, we don't want workers going without, we also don't want to set up a system where Washington is tipping the scale one way or the other.
Madam Speaker, employees have a choice to go on strike or not. And the reason why the current system requires these good cause reasons to quit is because to do otherwise would create a moral hazard, where you are incentivizing people to have both ends of the benefit of the bargain, both the benefit of quitting and the benefit of the unemployment insurance. That is not what any other system of insurance in the world, that's not how any other system of insurance in the world works, because it creates a moral hazard. The system crumbles if you create a moral hazard in insurance, and that's exactly what this bill does. This upsets the delicate balance that we have created as a state with our unemployment insurance system. Washington's unemployment insurance system is one of the envies of all the other states in the country, just like our pension system. And part of the reason for that, Madam Speaker, is because there has been bipartisan agreement to create balance between employer and employee. Madam Speaker, it's time for a change here in Washington. We've got to fix our problems. We are number 35 in business climate of any state in the country, down from 15 just 2 years ago. And this bill will make us do even worse. So please vote no so we can fix Washington instead of making it worse.